Welcome to podcast episode 3. I'm your host Ayushi Shroff, a Master's of Science in Business Analytics student here at NTU Nanyang Business School. And today we're diving into what grad school is really like beyond the polished LinkedIn posts and the university brochures. Joining me are 3 incredible guests from different master's programs, each bringing their unique experiences and insights. We'll be talking about everything from managing expectations and hidden benefits to the lighter side of grad school, like pulling all-nighters and crashing networking events for free food. So let's get started. To kick things off, let's go around and have each of you introduce yourselves. Please tell us your name, program, and one word that describes your grad school experience so far. We'll start with you.
Yep, I can start first, yeah. So my name is Roy. I'm in the part-time MBA program. So I believe I'm the only one that is have a career other than school right now. So personally, I'm in the industry, consulting industry. So I think if one word to explain or summarize the experience too far, I would say is fruitful. So it has been fruitful, I would say approximately 7 months for me, going through the whole different modules as well as making new friends in the campus itself.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm Kritika. I come from a media/marketing company. I'm Kritika. I come from a media/marketing background. Worked across varied sectors, be it luxury, working for E.L.E.V.A.T.E, or to sports, to fintech. If I had to describe my journey in one word, I would say it was impeccable. A lot of surprising elements, wherein it was not just about MBA class, but I think the unstructured learning that happened outside class.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Dhriti. I'm from the marketing science program. I also come in with about 4 years of experience in the food tech space. So food is something that I'm really passionate about, and I think that's something that I've also actively explored a lot outside of the classroom in Singapore. I think I've loved the cultural diversity I've gotten to experience and interact with in my short time here so far. And I think my grad school experience so far has honestly just been exciting. And I don't mean that just with regards to the classes and the friends I've made, but also the experiences that I've got to have as a part of it so far. And yeah, and I mean, yes, I do want to graduate and land a job and all of that. But honestly, I'm a little bit sad that the whole experience is also ending in a couple of months. So yeah.
Great. Welcome. Thank you so much. So we'll dive right in. So what made you decide to pursue a master's program, and why did you pick NTU? I'll just let you guys decide where to start, whichever one.
Yeah, but I can go first. So I think after working professionally for more than about 70 years, so I was thinking maybe it's time to continue learning and also to keep myself up to date in terms of whatever trends as well as what's happening in the industry as well as other industries as well. I think for my role itself as well as my industry, I think we used to interact with clients at different and also clients over different industry as well as different functions. So I personally feel that MBA truly helps us. It also helped me to polish my other aspects of from a business perspective, like finance, operations as well as engineering, which I'm not that familiar with due to my role itself. So I think that was one of the key drivers for me to pick up an MBA with NTU. So I think going back to one step back in terms of many questions, one of the questions that I received from many people is why NTU itself. So I think one thing is that for the part-time MBA in NTU, it really fits my schedule very well. So because of my role, sometimes I have to fly during the week days. For this particular MBA, it only has classes over the weekends. So that really fits nicely into my schedule. And I think also, as a matter of fact, when interacting with the admission team itself, I think they have that the sense of really truly wanting the best for you and understanding you fully in terms of just pushing out a certain product or a course for myself. So I think that there are some of the drivers in terms of why I chose to do my MBA with NTU.
Awesome, thank you.
I think for me, so MBA full-time MBA is a very big decision because there's time, investment, and traveling all together from India to Singapore, it was a big decision.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly that, my friend and I, we always wanted to pursue MBA, and she did it from other college. But then we used to check FT rankings.
Right.
So we knew about the colleges. I
Right.
knew about Nanyang Business School. But I was just having a conversation with one of my brother, and he said that, just try this college, it's good. And then we went to research all the professors, the SPAN project that they offer, and the industry visit that they have. We went to Vietnam. So I think everything just fit, and I kind of agree to him as well that NBS as a whole has a lot of credibility.
Right.
With the kind of quality that they provide and with the rankings that they've come recently. So for me, it just lined, and the why MBA factor, I come with an experience
Right.
again, with 7 years of experience, and I thought it's been marketing, it's been advertising, but how do I integrate this into strategy or consulting? And then when you're sitting with a diverse group of friends from different, I would say, niche industries, it's altogether different experience. So I think that just it just aligned, and
Both
I
of them
thought I
clicked
went
well.
with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. So I think honestly for me, the choosing the Y masters in the first place itself was like a very interesting journey, right? Because I think I had a very similar curve as well, where a lot of people were like, oh, don't you think like an MBA makes more sense for you at the moment and stuff. So even when I made the decision to actively start looking back into academics and like figuring out what my next moves were going to be and stuff, it took me a while to really figure out like why I really wanted to do something and what was my purpose for like getting back into studying again. And I think when I really sat down and I thought about it, I realized that like marketing is a space that I truly see myself in long term. So that made my decision of like, okay, you know what, doing a master's in marketing, which is a very specialized like niche space, is the like makes the most sense for me next in terms of like career moves, in terms of like getting back into studying as well. And then once I started looking into like the kind of different marketing programs that are offered, not just in Singapore but across the world, NTU actually stuck out to me for like multiple reasons. One of the biggest things actually was that, and I don't know if this applies to a lot of schools, but at least for the ones that I was having a look at, not a lot of schools actually give you a full breakdown of the kind of modules you will be covering in the program itself. I think a lot of them, they give you like a few vague ones where they're like, you will be covering like XYZ topics, and like they'll tell you maybe 4-5 subjects that you will be covering within your marketing module. But NTU gave like a full breakdown within its brochure, which for me was so insightful by itself, because I was like, this is fantastic, because some of the things that I'm genuinely really interested in, like the analytical side of marketing and like finance for marketing, it covers all of that as well. I think most marketing courses just cover like luxury and like brand management and your generic program content, but NTU was something that was really different. And honestly for me, like I mean, I'm probably a marketing girly, so this applies a lot, but I spend a ridiculous amount of time on Instagram, and NTU, along with its campus views and like, you know, the Yunnan garden and everything else that we have, has shown up for me on my Instagram feed so many times that I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna cry going to class every day anyway, I might as well cry with a pretty view. So I think like honestly having a good campus also was a very big deciding factor for me, and the fact that there's so much nature and all of that, because I was also based out of like the Middle East before this, which is amazing. I love the place, but it was a desert.
Yes.
Like I would not spot a tree for ages, and I was like, I need to be somewhere where I can see plants, where I can see greenery. And as funny as that sounds, that was actually one of my main reasons for like picking NTU as well.
It's a fun fact, and the great part is the building that we're in has trees.
Yeah, we're
so
literally
you
sitting
can't
in like
leave. We're surrounded by wood, trees everywhere, so you can't leave your class without running into a tree.
Yeah, so that was also one of my main deciding factor.
Awesome, love that. Actually, I had a similar journey as well with work experience and then trying to do something different than I've always been doing. And I love that too, the fact that they had the classes, because going into business analytics, I didn't know what I'm going into exactly, but I know MBA is not what I wanted to go do. Nothing against MBAs.
I think you can have your own whys.
Okay, thank you so much. So how, now that you guys picked NTU, picked your master's programs, I'm sure you had an idea of what you thought it would be like. So what you envisioned it to be, how has your actual experience been different in both positive, negatives, whichever way?
I think when it comes to expectations, I would say it's been beyond. Yes, you know, MBA programs are hectic. It's a 1-year program. it's going to be crazy, sleepless nights. But I think in classroom, if I have to say, it's like, you're given a case. I think it's with all of us. You're given a case. Everyone has an opinion. And everyone has to have an opinion, even if they don't. And then you have this conflicting views. And the most beautiful part is how amazingly, even though I'm not okay with what you're saying, I don't agree because we come from different industries, I'm still being respectable about it. Compared to when you're sitting in a conference room, you have to say yes because it's in the interest of company. So I think that has been amazing so far, these 3 trimesters. And as I mentioned about the unstructured learning, it was a very big surprise for me because I have to mention this, the NBS alums or NTU alums. You reach out to them on LinkedIn or you speak to them during the networking event that is hosted by the GSCDO, they will revert. And when you're changing a geography altogether, you're new to the country, you don't know, you're skeptical about everything that's around you. They just, they're like, okay, let's have a normal chat. And then it turns out to be that, so we have created a network wherein if you want to reach out to someone from another industry, for example, he's from consulting or from marketing, I can just, I don't need to hesitate. So I think
that's so true.
that's something which is just beyond. So when they say MBA is about network, yes, it is about network. And with the kind of, I would say, the way NTU is, wherein, it has different fields, the network is much wide. I mean, more than what you could expect. So there's no con-side about it. I mean, I would just say waking up for lectures at 9, sleeping at 7 in the morning, and then you just, running to the...
Well, you can hopefully catch a nice sunrise.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been for me.
Yep. I think for me, myself, I kind of expected a lot of hours to be put into the course itself other than work. So I was envisioning like burning my weekends where I don't have schools, as well as, burning my weekday nights just to complete assignment itself. I'll say that I might have overestimated to a certain extent. However, there are still nights where I do calls with my teammates, as well as on weekends do calls with some of the professors on projects and so on. But I think overall, to a certain extent, it is really manageable. So for people who are thinking about doing like a part-time MBA, whether it might take up too much of their time, even those who have family and kids, I have like I have friends taking the course with me that they have kids as well, and they are still managing perfectly well. So I think till now, I think there's a lot of to a certain extent there's a lot of benefits that that I have taken away based on the course itself. And I think that exceeds a lot on what I've expected. Like I think several of you have mentioned that people from different industries, as well as nationalities. So there's I believe around like 12 nationalities in the part-time MBA course. So I know people like I made friends from who are in the aerospace industry who are Koreans and also share their experiences when working in Korea as well as in Singapore. There are a lot of engineers who are from China and now they are in Singapore. So these are really interesting experiences as well as learnings for me. Not just interacting with within the consulting industry itself, maybe even with Singapore itself, as well as some other counterparts within my organizations, but within like interacting with people from India, China, Korea, Japan, and also from various industries. I think that really helps me understand a lot more about the whole global businesses kind of mindset, and what are some of the culture that they have in different organizations. Although it could be in the same industry, but different markets run it very differently in terms of their businesses itself.
Awesome. I wouldn't expect you to say overestimated your workload, but that is good to know.
Yeah, especially after when you were telling us that you have 9 to 6 classes on the weekends. Just hearing that, I was expecting a very different response. But yeah, I think personally for me, honestly, I think I've had like a very mixed experience in terms of like expectation versus reality. Honestly, I thought like coming into the program that my classes and modules, like the lectures itself, would be a lot more intense. But honestly, that's been the most manageable part of the program. I think the way they've like structured our timetable and like just the amount of days they've given us in a week to like show up on campus and like sit in class and all has been really seamless. Like I think that's actually like they've literally like made it as easy as possible for us. But actually, interestingly enough, I think what takes up a lot more of my time, at least in the marketing program, I feel like is our group assignments and projects outside of the classroom, which obviously contribute to your overall grade as well, right? So I would say a bigger chunk of my week actually goes into doing all of those projects and like group work. But honestly, most of it is with like teams, and we create some really cool content in the process. Like for instance, like in the first term, we did an assignment with like KFC and RGA, where we had to like create a whole campaign for one of their products, and we made something that was alien themed. So it was really funny because we're all these grown-up master students walking around pretending to be aliens and like shooting content. So it's a lot of fun stuff, even though it does like obviously run, you know, outside of the classroom and it takes up like really long hours. We really enjoy the process because the kind of things that we're working on and the kind of companies that we're collaborating with for these projects as well is like super cool. So I'd say overall, honestly, like, and I think this applies to any program, correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of time management in like graduate school really comes down to, you know, how you manage yourself. Obviously there's like multiple deliverables expected from everyone at like any given point, but I think the peak of it always comes towards the finals, no matter how much you plan it anyway. Like I think the last 1 week just before the term is going to end, where all your submissions are due,
every project is due,
is just, I think that's the most hectic time, and that's when I think everyone questions why they're choosing to do this program in the first place. But I think for the rest of the program, honestly, it's really manageable, and I think the resources that are made available to you as a student as well just make the whole process like as easy as possible.
Somehow, even if you've been working towards your group project the entire trimester, you still have so much left to do at the end. It's like, did I even do anything? That's actually the perfect segue to my next question, which is time management. So with the part-time, you kind of briefly mentioned that you're able to manage your work and studies, and you have classmates that manage personal life as well. But how kind of intense? I guess we briefly touched on it, but is there anything else you would like to add on it?
Yeah, I think like for the part-time itself, right, I think one of the most challenging is not managing your own time, but managing everyone's time. So most often or not, you have to work in a groups of 4 or 5, and to find like a common time for everyone, I think that is really challenging. Because ultimately, it doesn't mean that if I'm available, you must be available. We have to respect each other's time. So I think that is one of the challenges itself from my experience. But other than that, I think as many of the students, when they have decided to do a master program, they would try their best to accommodate, you know, in terms of trying to find a best slot that fits everyone. So I think up to now, everyone is very accommodating, as well as, you know, they are willing to even to extend to late nights to ensure like the project goes well. So I'm just very grateful to have them in my project.
I think I already like sort of touched upon it in terms of this thing. But I think, again, like I said, it really comes down to you as an individual and like how you choose to balance your projects. And I mean, this is a very big takeaway for me personally, but I also feel like your master's program is a great time for you to explore your interests outside of just academics. So I think in terms of that, I've definitely had like a lot of time to explore different things, like being a part of the brand ambassador community, doing podcasts like this, and just enjoying, I think, different classes. Like I also love like exploring like dance and music and pottery and theater outside of just doing all of that. So obviously like time management becomes a very big crunch when it comes, when you have to put everything on your platter. But I really think it just depends on you as an individual and how much you're able to juggle.
Yeah, actually that's a good point, because I was gonna ask like, how do we address like classes and stuff, but then there's also obviously an aspect of time for yourself and time for health, fitness, social life, like all of these other things. So you're still able to manage all of that.
You can manage it. Obviously there are peak hours during the term where you basically cannot even look up, but and you have to be like a horse with blinders on. But I think for the majority of it, honestly, there's a lot of time for you to like go around and explore. I think so much of what NTU has to offer, and also so much of what Singapore has to offer to you.
I think they say free time.
Yeah,
you get some free time and full time. I would say that's a myth.
Okay.
Okay, that's a myth. You have holidays, but then with the kind of campus this is,
Right.
I've been a sports person all my life. So for me, going to Wave, I've almost tried all sports that they play. I play with the
Awesome.
undergrads also.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
I've made
nice.
new friends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would say if it's in regards to MBA, you have cases to read, of course,
Right.
innumerable ones. Then you have a lot of competitions happening around,
Right.
which again, and it's not that, because I don't come from this particular background, I wouldn't want to participate.
Right,
People are
right.
equally passionate, curious to know what it is, let's participate.
Right.
So even if they say we have a free time in our calendar, we actually don't.
Okay.
And yes, I think people have been like initially I would say that it's difficult to kind of understand how do you really want to prioritize.
Right.
But I think that's the beauty of this program, that it teaches you.
Right.
And it also teaches you how to kind of, work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. So are you enjoying your free time?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm loving this. It's like, a marathon and then you have sprints in between.
Okay.
So you're doing classes, then you're doing podcasts, then you're doing other events, and then you're meeting people. So it's fun altogether. It's fun altogether.
Awesome. So beyond academics, career, what's one unexpected benefit of grad school? Kind of the expectations versus reality, but like a benefit that you've kind of experienced in your time at NTU so far. We'll start with. There you go. Go ahead.
no
Go
worries.
ahead. You're ready. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would say definitely friendship that is made.
Awesome.
I think that is the biggest takeaway, or something that I did not expect as much before going into the program. I think we have bonded so close in the sense that we would invite each other to our own home I think most of us, we are in the age of maybe early 30s to like late 40s, and some of us like got our new home. So even there's like housewarming practice in Singapore, we will invite our friends over like from the course itself. So and there was also instances where some of us do travel for work, and we happen to be traveling to the same country at the same
cool.
period. We will find a day to meet up for like lunch or dinner in the country itself. So I think that has been quite memorable. I believe that if there's one thing I would say that if I were to remember or really take away from the course itself, is really the friendships that is made. I think most of us would say that sometimes we would even have forgotten like what was taught in the previous module, right? But the friends that we made, I think it will last us for a lifetime, and definitely we foresee ourselves even hanging out frequently after the course has ended. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Really made all of us a little senti there. I guess if I had to go, I think for me, honestly, a very unexpected but like pleasant I think takeaway from also studying at NTU and being in Singapore is that it's given me a lot of opportunity to travel.
Right.
And I think traveling is something that I personally really have always enjoyed. I've always had the travel bug in me, and I think being here has really enabled that. And I think the reason, again, I'm able to do that is, like he mentioned, I've been able to make some amazing friendships who also share similar interests, even though we all come from such different backgrounds, that we've been able to do this common activity that we love together. And I think that's been really, really awesome.
I think for me, again, friendship.
Yeah.
Most of us stay in the same hostel as
Right.
well. But nonetheless, I feel friendship with people from different geographies.
Yeah.
Because you feel language is a barrier.
Right.
Which it was. But I think with time, you kind of just feel everyone is one.
Right.
And that, and at the same time, I feel second is the connection with the professors.
Okay.
So when you're working for too long, you're not really used to, learning the way it is taught.
Right.
So the entire experience changes, and then you're told that, hey, 1 second, you're wrong. This is not how it works.
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh yeah, I'm sitting in a class, and then you forget that you worked so far.
Right.
So for so long. And then I think, again, because you've stayed in one country, one place for a long time, you feel that, oh, you're going to miss home. But it's just like, no, you have a new family here.
Yeah.
So you miss them when you don't
Right.
see them when you go back home. So I think that's been a change
That's how you know those are like friendships you want to have if you're missing them.
What about you though? Like, what
Uh,
has your takeaway from the grad school been so far?
I wasn't prepared to answer the questions.
Had to put the Uno reverse card down.
Oh my god. I think the experience has been kind of aligned with what I expected. With getting to learn what I wanted to learn, but I'm learning it. I guess I'm learning exactly what I wanted to and the way I wanted to.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to learn analytics, but not in a very technical, heavy, focused way, understanding how I can do business strategy with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've gotten the chance to do. I think the career support has been amazing.
Yeah.
One of our requirements is doing an internship, and I think GSCDO was like just amazing in helping students kind of get that internship as well. So I think the experience reality is matching the expectation.
Nice. That's good to hear.
So we'll move to some fun questions.
Oh no.
This requires some anecdotes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you 3 options, and if you have an anecdote on any one of those, please share, or any other one also.
Okay.
Pulling an all-nighter, you mentioned that's an every nighter, all-nighter thing. Crashing a networking event for free food.
Absolutely.
A fun fact actually is there's a Telegram group called Free Food at NTU that we frequently browse through. Or pretending to understand a complex lecture. I think you mentioned this too. So any like fun anecdotes from your experience so far?
Actually, I feel like I tick all 3 of the boxes.
As
you're
you
reading
should.
it out, like at this point, I feel like we're playing bingo, and I'm like, yes, I've done this, yes, I've done
The
this.
question is called grad school bingo. So
There you go. So I think we can definitely all collectively say that we've experienced all 3 of this. It's a part of being at grad school here, and I think it goes without saying, like you have to pull an all-nighter, especially during finals week. It's like you forget about sleep for a week. Crashing for free food, as long as there's no legal implications, we do it all the time. And I forgot which was the last one. Understanding a complex lecture. Yeah, I think that does happen as well. Like, I mean, not as frequently for us, honestly, because we don't have like a lot of technical modules. But there are the one-odd classes where, sometimes you just tend to zone out, and then when you zone back in, you have no idea what's going on with the conversation, so you have to quickly like catch up and be like, yes, I know what's happening.
I've stared at enough code on the screen to not understand anything that's happening. What about you guys?
Yeah, I guess what you mentioned, the last point in terms of understanding like a complex lecture or module, I think that's very true, especially for the part-time BA students, right? Because there are 2 things that you can look for. Firstly, that if you are you have an operations background and you have a professor teaching operations module, and sometimes you can't really understand because that what's happening in the industry itself, or in back in your role, is actually slightly different from what is being taught, because the real world, as well as on paper or the theory, sometimes the application as well as what's out there is really different. And I think the other lens that you could look at is for maybe students with marketing background for like 12 years, and you ask them to understand operations module, and they have long forgotten like where did they even took their undergrad, in which institution.
That's true.
Yeah, they were like they're most of the time lost, and just trying to figure out what was the first slides talking about. So I think there are always these 2 perspectives, and I think what makes it like great in terms of the class composition is that there's always one student that is an expert, meaning having the background, the industry experience, that's able to relate, and you will see most of the rest of the students flocking to him or her, trying to get some explanation out of it. Or I think the professor is always helpful to to let us know like if there's any questions during the tea break. He's more than welcome, for any questions itself. Yeah.
Awesome.
She's like, give me a minute.
Recovering from that one.
I think it happened during accounting lectures.
Okay.
And a professor, I would say his sarcasm was on point.
Beautiful.
He knew that most of us don't study and come to class. So he used to, it used to go line by line. Everyone has to answer one question.
Oh, okay.
So zoning out in his class was next to impossible. And he was very kind.
Right.
He's not going to let you skip. he will just be where you are. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of, okay, then he'll give you hints. And
Oh,
if you're
so cute.
still not catching, the entire class is laughing. So the entire experience, I think, I remember that class very well because we understood, like, we don't come from accounting.
Right.
But the way he explained us,
Yeah.
you know, he just made it very comfortable. So after a point, we were like, okay, we are prepared.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and when it comes to free food, I think the first time when we came into the campus and we saw, you know, food everywhere.
there's a lot of food on
Yeah.
campus
Yeah.
everywhere.
And then we're like, okay, if we are hungry, what do we do? Can we go? Like, yeah, just go in, just crash. You know, like we were told that by our seniors. So
It's-
okay, free goodies and free food is something that you should not be
It's
ashamed
all
of.
for some student.
Yeah.
We are some student. We can get the food. Awesome. So we're almost at the end. If you had to give any advice, which is, you know, following the theme of truth about graduate programs, to anyone that is considering applying or has already gotten in and deciding, what would your one, I guess, piece of advice be?
I think for me personally, for any potential students who are applying, because I feel like a lot of students have been reaching out on like
Yeah.
LinkedIn and
Yeah.
like Unibuddy and all these platforms with like a lot of questions about what is the program and all of that. I would say definitely do your research about what you're getting into before you apply to any program. Yes, of course, like NTU is an amazing brand name to have on your resume. It's a fantastic school. It'll definitely open a lot of conversations for you, but I feel like for the amount of time and resources that you are investing into something so solid, make sure you know exactly what you're getting into. Because I think a lot of people also come into this program thinking like, oh, it's going to be a breeze through and like, you know, everything's going to be handed to me on a platter and I just have to go pick it up and like it's going to, like, you know, everything's going to be done. No, you still need to come in, you need to put in the hard work. It's a competitive market, it's a tough market.
Right.
You are also competing in a classroom full of extremely competent people, and there is like a lot of the grunt work that still needs to be done after getting into grad school.
Yes.
Like that is just step one in your journey that is about to begin,
Yeah.
right? So I think people should really be aware that grad school is not easy, but it's definitely worth it. So I would say definitely do all of your research before you apply for any program and before you come in for it, because once you're in the program and then you're cribbing about it the whole time saying, oh, I can't keep up with this, or like, oh, an internship isn't being offered to me on a
Yeah.
platter, or like, oh, I'm not able to land a job, that's 100% on you. Like you need to be able to pick up the slack and like, you know, really do all the work to make it happen for you.
This year goes by so much faster than
So
you can
much faster
even
than you-
imagine.
Like you're
It's-
gonna I swear I just
blinked.
I put my head down for like a second in term 1 and it's term 3 already
Yeah,
right now.
it's
So it's gonna go by before you realize it. But as long as you're having fun doing it,
Yeah.
and you're doing it for all the right reasons, I think it's going to be the adventure of a lifetime.
awesome.
I would say polish your networking skills. I think full-time MBA gives you all opportunities.
Right.
This college gives you all opportunities. They have every resource. So be open about what you want. I would put it as if you know how to network, you're on the right path. As simple as that.
Awesome.
Yep, I'll keep it even shorter. So I think maybe three phrases or 3 steps. I think first is be committed, and second is enjoy the process, and then I think last one is once you graduate, you will enjoy the fruit of your labor. Yeah.
I think we should make that like a part on the NBS website now, like 3 steps to success by Roy. We'll discuss that in the next brand ambassador meeting. So thank you so much, guys. That brings us to the end of today's conversation. A huge thank you. I hope you guys had fun. Thank you for being so honest and candid. If you're a prospective student wondering whether a graduate program is worth it, is right for you, I hope this was helpful and it gives you a clear picture of highs, lows, and unexpected surprises. Before we wrap up, we'll do a quick little challenge. So we started off with 1 word to describe your grad school experience. We'll bring it back to 280 characters, also previously known as a tweet. Just some, I guess you summarize it in 3
I
very
feel like-
quick. I
yeah.
think you're good on the tweet. If you have any more creative ideas, but
Not really. I actually don't use X or Twitter. So
any short, punchy grad school
I mean, I'm
summary?
really putting myself to shame right now as a marketing student. I feel like I should be doing a better job at this.
No, but I think this campus has a lot to offer. So, you know,
It's
280
very hard
is
to put
very
it
less.
into 280 characters. Yes, I will go with that response.
No, but I one second, you just let me think.
I think
As a marketing student.
as a marketing
Yeah.
student, I'm doing a great job representing
Which,
myself right
which
now.
professor do we have to show this to? Okay, no pressure.
Okay, I would say
Coaches.
um, conference to classroom.
Okay,
Yeah, I would just end it there.
awesome.
Okay, I would.
And with a smiley. With
Oh,
a smiley
yeah.
and with those fire and
Oh.
dancing and all those emojis. Yeah.
I would say passion to education.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say that's what this entire grad school experience has been for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you see an updated website, it'll probably be because of the great insights we have gotten from here. Love them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone considering grad school and follow us on LinkedIn. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.